and then send you guys the recording. So welcome everyone. I'm Kathy Williams, and if you do have background noise, please mute yourself that way. And when you'd like to ask a question, there is a way of raising your hand, and also you're welcome to chat in the chat box. And I'd love your interaction. That'll make it more relevant to you, because I have hundreds of tools to draw from. I used to teach this stuff in hospital stress reduction programs, at Whole Foods, at different corporations and organizations, as well as to individuals. And I still use it a lot in individual settings. But since I had my kids, I haven't done any, larger groups. I remember there was one guy who was kind of promoting me to other people in the town. He said, Kathy came to our hospital and, people were like, what is this? And then by the end of it, they were eating out of her hand. So these things do work if you're willing to play with them, and they're supposed to be fun. So the first one I'd like to just get us started with is a stress reducer that is so easy to use, and it just takes like 20-30 seconds. So you're going to start with your fingers at your temples. And this is great for kids too. If you have kids or teach for kids, you take a nice deep breath. Exhale, and then on your next inhale, trace around your ears, and I'm just going to show you that. And then once you're finished, let your hands just hang off your shoulders and take a couple of breaths. In through your nose, out through your nose, or through your mouth. So you're inhaling through your nose, and then exhale in the way that works for you. So let's do that again. So you take your fingers to your temples, take a nice deep inhale, exhale here, and then inhale, trace your fingers around your ears, and let your hands hang off your shoulders. And one of the things that this incorporates is breathing deeply, which is our only quick way in to influencing the autonomic nervous system. When you're stressed out, the body prepares itself to run or to freeze. Let me hide, I'm not here, or to hit something. Well, in so many situations now, let's say you're at a family holiday meal, is it appropriate to run or hit something? Not really. Usually anyway. So this breathing deeply is a way of calling your blood back from your limbs. It was ready to run or hit, so the blood goes to the limbs instead of the digestive organs or reproductive organs or even the frontal brain. So when you're breathing deeply, it's a way to consciously influence the stress response. All right. You can't automatically say, hey, blood, come back. Come back. I don't need you in my arms and legs. You can come back to my digestion and my reproduction. And, this is why so many diseases, among the reasons so many diseases are stress related. Because if your blood is leaving your organs, your torso, and going to prepare to hit stuff, there's not as much available for you to do the processes that are required, not to mention the tension in your organs, muscles, and all of that. So we're not going to dive hugely into the science of it today. But then the other thing that we're doing is there are neurovascular points on your temples that are relaxing. And then this is the meridian, the triple warmer meridian, that when you get stressed, this gets overactive. So what we're actually doing is tracing it backwards to help remind it, hey, you know what? You're not necessary right now. Thanks for your contribution, and you can come back at a time when it's more appropriate. Okay? And then you're just hanging on your shoulders, and so much tension accumulates here. And when the tension accumulates here, and you just let your hands hang off. Hello, Stephanie. You're actually inviting the body to become more grounded. And I know a lot of us say, you know, oh, do I need to be grounded? I'm an infinite being. Yes, you're an infinite being, and your body loves to have its energy flows, flowing in a way that's such that, yeah, some energy is downward. Okay, hello. So questions about that one? Awesome. All right. Quickie, easy, great for kids. I've done it with, I've even gone up to a little child who was freaking out and put my hands there and just traced around his ears, and he calmed down, and his dad was like, what'd you just do? You know? Magic. Oh. So the other thing that goes down when we're stressed is immunity, right? So here's a little trick for immunity. Oh, that's better with the lighting. When we've been going, this is a great one too. Like, let's say you're driving and you're starting to get tired, and it's the end of a long day. Go ahead and take one hand off the steering wheel, find your collarbones, and then under the collarbones, there somewhere in there, there's going to be a little indentation. And you're going to find an indentation, and you're going to thump. And that has the effect of kind of waking the body up, okay, and getting the kidney meridian functioning well again. Okay. This is part of Donna. I like to cross my hands too. The body has a natural crossover pattern. If you think of like the right brain governing the left side of the body and vice versa, the body has a natural crossover pattern that's not present in people, as present in people with dyslexia. So if you can teach them to do things that have a natural crossover pattern, like this, or like drawing figure eights, drawing them, making them in the air, it will help their focus. It'll help all of our focus. When our focus is getting a little like, meh, to do figure eights actually brings back more of that natural right brain, left brain integration, helps us focus. It also helps our immunity, because the body is designed to have that crossover pattern. All right. Not only in the brain, but also if you think of the chakra system, you know, each of the, and we could get as technical as you'd like, but each of the nadis, the solar and lunar nadis that go up and cross at the chakras, cross, and then go to the other side and cross, and that's what forms the chakras. Okay. So let's get a little bit, we've talked about some of the, Chinese meridians, chakras. Let's just get into basic breathing, scientifically shown to change blood pressure, to change focus, to change, stress response. So there are 4 parts of the breath. Okay, we usually are more aware of 2 of those. There's the inhale, the exhale, There's a slight hold of the breath after you inhale, right? You inhale, natural pause, exhale, and natural pause. So those are the 4 parts. Okay? In breathing practices, we start to expand usually each of those parts, right? We'll start to deepen our inhale, maybe even lengthen the pause, lengthen the exhale, and then lengthen the pause. So we could consider it a ratio between these 4 parts. Inhale, pause, exhale, pause. So let's say we do a ratio of 1, 1, 1, 1. That would be like a box, right? Inhale 4, hold 4, exhale 4, hold 4. Okay. That kind of breathing is actually going to have a slight energizing effect. Why? Because as we inhale, it has an energizing effect to the body. It places a slight healthy pressure on the heart. It's a natural healthy pressure. Okay, as you hold the breath, that pressure is sustained. Then you exhale. Okay, you have pressure because what? The lung is inflated, healthy pressure to the heart. Exhale, that pressure is released, and then you hold the breath. Okay. So the inhale and the hold after inhale are the energizing parts of the breath. The exhale and the hold after exhale are the relaxing parts of the breath. Okay. So if we would like to relax then, well, let's talk about energy. If we would like to energize, inhaling and holding the breath are going to give us a little extra energy. Okay? Then you exhale. Your exhale is never longer than your inhale if you're doing a breath practice. Okay? If someone is teaching you to do that, you may like to question what they're teaching and what they're asking you to do. Okay? Because traditionally, for people like you and I who eat food, okay, who are not ascetics living in a cave, who survive on I don't know what, just air. Okay. Traditionally, we always want to exhale either longer in duration than inhale, and longer in duration than we hold our breath. So we would never inhale for 8 counts, hold our breath for 32 counts, and then exhale for 8 counts. I mean, you might be able to do that once or something like that, underwater or something. But as for a sustained breathing practice, you're always going to want to exhale longer than you inhale or than you hold your breath. Got it? Okay. So, why do this? Well, if you're willing to practice breathing for 5 minutes a day, that's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, not a lot. Okay. How many 5 minutes do you waste on Facebook? Actually, you could do your breathing practice while you're on Facebook, right? Inhale. All right. If you're willing to do 5 minutes of conscious breathing every day, it's going to change your immunity. It's going to enhance your digestion. Again, you're returning the blood to these vital organs. It's going to likely improve your focus, your emotional response, which means your relationships will get better. I mean, there's just such a plethora of benefits to just slowly breathing for 5 minutes a day. And there are all sorts of ways to do this. So we're just going to do something really simple. And then on YouTube, I've posted, a couple other, more complex breathing techniques. They're not super complex, but they just add a level of complexity. So for energy, you're going to either make sure your inhale is equal to your exhale, or you inhale, you hold your breath a little bit, and then you exhale. Okay? Because remember, inhale and hold are the energizing parts of the breath. Okay, if you are trying to get to sleep at night, then what you would do is guide your exhale to become gently and progressively slower. Not to the point where it's like, oh, I have no air, right? You're not forcing the air out, but you're just guiding your exhale to a comfortable rate and rhythm that's slowing down. So let's practice one that's gonna be helpful for inhale and energy. And as you do this, what I'd like you to do is, if you have two hands free, it's not necessary, but you can definitely do this. Put one hand on your rib cage and the other hand on your belly. So as you inhale, I'd just like you to lengthen your spine a little bit and soften your belly. And then as you exhale, firm the belly like it's okay. It's a gentle hug, and relax your rib cage. Okay. So we're going to just match the inhale and the exhale. If your inhale is 4 counts, your exhale is 4 counts. Okay. If your inhale is 5 counts, your exhale is 5 counts. And what I'd like you to do is just explore, okay, what's a comfortable inhale for me right now? Matching the exhale to the inhale. Each inhale is kind of like a balloon, expanding the lungs and softening the belly. Each exhale is like a gentle hug, firming the belly, drawing the ribs together gently in the front. There are all sorts of breathing techniques. So right now we're inhaling from the top downward, ribs to belly. And as we exhale, we're exhaling from the low to up, low to high, belly to ribs. So see if you can add a count to your inhale and exhale. The breath should never be strained or choppy. So if it's strained or choppy, you've exceeded your maximum comfortable ratio for now. So let's add something. Let's add a pause of 2 after you inhale. So you're gonna inhale fully at the same rate. You're gonna pause 2, and then exhale matches the inhale. So the only thing we've added is a pause of 2. Expand even the back ribs. Sometimes we think of just expanding the front and splaying the ribs. Expand even the back ribs as you inhale. And if that's pretty comfortable for your body, add a second to the hold, to the pause after you inhale. If you can inhale through your nose, do it that way. If you're stuffy, it's okay to breathe through the mouth. As you exhale, traditionally with the yoga, it's done, the exhale is done through the nostrils, but through the mouth is also fine if you're gently and progressively letting the air out. If you breathe in through the nostrils, it's filtering the air. So if you'd like, add an extra count to the hold of your breath. If it's too much, stay at the same rhythm. Never push or force your breath. your mind wanders, bring it back to your ratio. Inhale is equal in duration to exhale. And your hold can be up to 4 counts right now. Now to come out of a breathing practice, we always taper down. So we don't just go right back to our normal rhythm of breath. Let's take a count off of the inhale and the exhale and do a pause of 2. So you're making your inhale and exhale a little shorter, and your pause is only 2 now. Good, and now let go of the breathing technique and just keep your eyes closed for a moment. And notice the effect. What do you notice? What do you notice?
For me, it was interesting that during I was really aware of the blood pumping like a lot, like dung 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 dung, and I was like, this is definitely the energizing part. Okay, yes, circulation, and then as soon as we like dialed it down again, I'm like, there's not the dung 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 and the heart racing, and it's like there's definitely like, oh wow, it's really calm, and like it's like all of a sudden it just switched off, and it's just like, ah.
So cool. Yeah. So may
It's
I ask?
really immediate.
Say it again.
It's so immediate. I wasn't expecting it to be quite that fast. Like,
Isn't that amazing? Yeah. Would you mind sharing what ratio you had? Like inhale.
I did the 4, and at the highest amount, it was like the 4, and then the 4 and 4.
Cool.
And then when we went down, it was like 3, and then 2 and 3, and then 2 2 2, and but it was, yeah, it was nice. I had a question around the ratio though. With yoga, they often will say, I think at one point they were like, oh, 8, like hold inhaling for 8 and exhaling for 8.
Yeah.
What are the benefits of the longer stretches of both the inhale and the exhale? Like, is that something that would be beneficial as a target? And if so, like, what are the benefits of that?
It is. It is. To deepen the breath capacity, it's actually like aerobic exercise, like to increase heart capacity, increase lung capacity. Definitely. I have a teacher who practiced pranayama every day, which is the name for breathing practices in yoga. And when it's called pranayama, there are some specifications around it, like you're sitting upright. It's not pranayama if you're lying on your back. So he practiced every day. And I think his ratio was something like inhale, he really practiced at it. So it was definitely like inhale 15, hold 15, exhale 15, like that. And his friend invited him to swim the channel between 2 of the islands here. Now it takes a good 40 minutes for a boat to cross there. Okay? So you can imagine it's a long distance, right? And my teacher, his name's Gary Crafso. He has a book. Let me see. He has a couple books, but here's one of them. It's awesome. Yoga for Transformation. So he had never done this kind of swimming, efforting before like that, between an island to island. And he did it. He just went and did it. And he actually had more stamina and capacity than the guy who did it every week. Okay? Because he would sit and practice deep breathing every single day. And similarly, I met an old man who practiced, I mean, old as in like upper 80s, who practiced deep breathing every day. And just vitality. And, I mean, again, we're calling the blood flow back into our vital organs, including the frontal brain. It just has so many beneficial effects. And Dr. Ron, if you'd like to comment on that, you're most welcome to. Yeah.
Ditto. Yeah, no, it's right on point, Kathy. There, you can go into the physiology of it and so forth, but the breathing patterns you're talking about are the ones that, like you said, de-stress the body. Especially the key part that I find is the longer exhale and the pauses in between each phase of the breath. And there's just so many different benefits to that. And for most people, even clinically, the vast majority of people are actually hyperventilating, subclinically or even clinically hyperventilating based on where the standard was 20, 30 years ago when I started studying medicine.
Wow.
So as you know, in medicine, they just go by the average of the general population and assume that that is healthy. And we all know that's probably not true. And then you add to that lab values are based on the same presumption, but then they do a bell curve and they throw out the top 2.5% to 5% and the bottom 2.5% is abnormal and everybody else is okay. Well, who gets lab tests? Obviously, the vast majority of them are people who have health issues. And so we're going to take an average of people who have some kind of a complaint and only pay attention to the most extreme differences. I mean, some of the lab values I see now are so ridiculous based on what I learned 30 years ago, that things that we would have sent people to the hospital for 30 years ago, they're now calling normal. And so this is one of the big areas is in breathing, and it's fundamental to the entire healing system of the body. So I really appreciate what you're teaching. It's excellent information, very similar to what I teach with every patient and every class. We start with this type of breathing because that's so simple and so easy, and probably one of the most powerful things I've ever found in all the different types of medicine I've studied.
Wow. Thank you for that. Yeah. And the yogis considered the breathing the most powerful medicine. Okay.
Yeah. And just as a visual to help motivate everybody, we've all heard that when somebody's having a panic attack, have them breathe into a paper bag.
Yeah.
But that gets embarrassing when you're sitting in a restaurant somewhere, right? So the breathing pattern that Kathy is teaching with the long exhale and the pauses is the metabolic equivalent of breathing into a paper bag. And you can do it anywhere and nobody knows you're doing it.
Or look at how many people go out to have a cigarette to get some deep breaths. And it's like, you don't require a cigarette to get a deep breath. You can train yourself. Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Ram. Yeah.
You bet.
Yeah. So the yogis developed all these different breath techniques. They developed things to cool the body. They developed things to heat up the body. They developed things to bring more focus and integration to that cross pattern that we talked about earlier. They developed one. Actually, there was one that I used during pregnancy. It was like, here's the one for morning sickness and nausea. I mean, like, they really got into the science of breath because they weren't so oriented toward, I need to take some, maybe herbs they did use, to some degree, but it wasn't so based on external things as what's really going on in my physiology. And they found that there's this whole science of breath that can balance the physiology in so many ways. So that's one of the things we'll go into in the 3-week program. I mean, not a ton, because I'm giving 5-minute videos on different things you can do throughout your day. But, you know, here's a breath for when you're angry. Use this one, you know, and I used to tell clients, you can always go in the bathroom and use it. No one's going to argue. So they might think you have diarrhea if you go in there enough, but hey, it's worth it. So we did a breath technique. I just love to make a few other comments. So let's say, like Siri's, your practice is at an inhale of 4 and an exhale of 4 right now. As you play with that, maybe by the end of the week, your inhale will be 5 or 6, and exhale 5 or 6. You know what I mean? So it's like what you're doing over time is progressively expanding. So as I talked about, you know, my teacher was at least inhale 15, hold 15. He could do inhale 15, hold 15, exhale 15, hold 15. Now we weren't holding after exhale, although we could. Holding after exhale is amazing. It allows you to drop in, and it's really safe because your natural instinct is to take another breath, right? If I'm holding my air out, I'm eventually going to have a natural instinct to inhale again. Okay, the only place it's really not that safe is when you're doing free diving. People have died, you know, because they're underwater. That said, if you have a lot of emotional unrest, holding your breath out for a while can bring up memories of being strangled or like smothered, or can bring up, you know, your anxiety of like, am I going to get another breath or whatever. So that is always approach with caution. You know, we talk about in pranayama, it's super useful to have a teacher who knows what they're doing, because the breath is powerful. So what we did today is super safe, and you can just start to progressively add a second to your inhale and exhale so that you're building your lung capacity, just like any muscle. You know, this requires progressive development, not like, oh, today I'm 30 and exhale 30.
I'm also wondering, you know, with my sister, she has a physical disability, and it's kind of tricky for her, especially in the winter in Chicago with like ice and things like that, to get out and be as active. And would these type of breathing exercises, since it can be aerobic, you were saying, and it's definitely seemed that way even when I was doing it right now, would be a nice way for people who have mobility issues to kind of keep the circulation going and stay active. For instance, like for her, she has spina bifida and she is able to walk, but a lot of the people in the facility that she lives in are in wheelchairs. They can't walk. And so I'm wondering if this might be a way for them to like get that cardio and have some of those health benefits. Or is there like any other considerations around it that if they can't actually be moving afterwards, after they have that time sitting?
Thank you for that question. The breath is amazing. I mean, we say if you can breathe, you can do yoga. So yes, they can definitely use this as a practice and receive benefit.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, thanks for that question. Because I mean, you can be in a hospital room and practice breathing techniques, and actually, you know, even guide your awareness. Of course, unless you're, you know, breathing, unless you're in the hospital for a lung condition, then we might ask some questions about that. It might not be useful, but you know, let's see, Dr. Ron, you're the speaker because there's some noise on your end.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to remute.
That's so fine. So the breathing practice, I mean, there are certain contraindications here and there, but in that case, no, not really. And it can just be such a useful way of them getting some kind of exercise. So yeah, thank you for that. That's
because it's huge. A lot of them are overweight, and then it's even harder for them to potentially not have to use the wheelchair. Like maybe some of them will start off with walking and with, you know, braces and things like that, and then due to lack of activity and all the other different choices, so they end up going on the wheelchair, and then it's hard, and then if they're not active, find a way to get that aerobic cardio. Then it's harder and harder to get out of that situation. So thank you for that. I will definitely pass that on to her.
Thank you. And then the other thing I just wanted to let's actually practice this instead of talk about this. The breath, of course, is only in the lungs, right? It's not going down to the belly. It's not going to, I mean, people will say, breathe into your hip. Well, yes and no. If you were breathing into your hip, we couldn't get you to the hospital fast enough, right? And that said, if you take your attention there, prana and energy and blood flow will go there, okay? So let's all just do this for fun. And remember, when we're stressed, usually, well, no, always, well, like 99% of the time, the stress is because our mind is not here. It's either in the past. Oh, I shouldn't have. Oh, I should have. Oh, he shouldn't have. Oh, that happened. That was frightening. That was whatever, right? Or it's in the future. Uh-oh, what if this happens? Oh, I have this, someone's gonna have this conversation with me and I'm nervous about it, or blah, 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 right? We're not right here. Because 99% of the time when we're right here, we're just fine, right? And even if it's like this intense moment or situation, like grandmas can lift up a car, right? And then afterwards they freak out about it, but not during. They're just like, they do what's required. So the breathing is a great way to bring your mind right back to the present. And let's do another little technique to do that, and then we'll do another breathing technique. So bring your hands together like this, and I'm going to scoot back just a little bit. Okay, so this is, I taught something called Connecting Heaven and Earth last week, and that'll be in the 5-minute videos that I send with the program. This one is really super simple and helps again with that right brain, left brain integration, and it brings us back to the present. So on your inhale, lift one hand up and slightly lower the other hand. Again, inhale, and then exhale, bring the hands together. Other side, inhale up. Exhale, hands together. Inhale up. Exhale, hands together. Inhale up. And exhale, hands together. Good, and then just interlace your fingers. Good. Now this is really useful when you're interacting with other people who are freaked out, okay? Because in Access Consciousness, we have this tool called Return It to Sender with consciousness. Like, who does this belong to? Return it to sender with consciousness, which is amazing. And sometimes our nervous system still has to regroup. You know, the physiology of the body, like, oh, it was just activated. Okay. So that's a quick thing to do that can help you. The other thing you can do is if someone really seems scrambled, you know, they're not well focused, they're sort of all over the place, your physiology may start to mimic that. Or, you know, if you have all these clocks in a room, they'll start to tick together. Okay, so your physiology may start to do that with this person. So what you can do is reach your hands forward, interclasp them together, and do this. And this will remind your physiology to stay in its balanced way and not scramble. Okay? Because if the other person is scrambled, your body may start to do the same. And doing this, like I used to go and, networking events or when you hear a speaker and something's a little bit off, I used to just sit like this with my hands low in my lap. They don't have to be up near your chest. They can be low. And just remind my physiology, hey, yes, I am paying attention to this person, but you can stay balanced. Okay. Kids with teachers will do that. The kid might come in totally balanced and the teacher might be super scrambled, and then the kids will become scrambled. Okay. So this can definitely help. And again, you can take some nice deep breaths. Questions? So funny. Siri, you're the speaker. So funny.
I'm the speaker?
Yeah, it's a speaker view and it's just...
But I wasn't saying anything.
I know, it is. There we go. Okay.
Your Zoom just likes me.
It does.
I was wondering with the range of motion with like wrists and stuff or injuries, like if there's a way to like, you know how with certain yoga poses and stuff, or even like kinesiology and things, they can do tweaking accommodations until you get like a greater range of motion.
Yeah.
Right now with all the computer time and driving and things, I noticed that my wrists are a little bit tighter than usual.
Yeah.
So it was still fine. It wasn't painful at all to do that, but I'm wondering for people who might not have that ease of range of motion, how to adapt it.
Yeah, I mean, you can do what you can. You could even not interclasp your fingers and kind of like do this kind of thing, if that's a little easier.
Okay.
Okay. I have just done it like this before and rested my hands in my lap like that. And then here's another one that's really similar. That's actually the one we just did, is more of the adaptation. Here's a little bit more of the a way you could do it that's a little different. So you would take, this is my left foot, so I'm going to take my right hand to my left ankle, and then take my left hand to the ball of my left foot. Okay, so this is left and left. They're kind of mirroring each other, right? And then my right hand comes to my ankle. I'm just gonna take a couple of breaths like this. This is so amazing. My body is already like, thank you. So you take a nice deep breath and let it out. I'm getting to do 4 breaths, so you could take 3 or 4, and then you uncross. And I like to put my fingers together. I actually love, this is not the traditional thing to do, but I love to put my fingers on my head like this. It just feels so fabulous. This one is called Cook's Hookup. And it is a kinesiology thing. Right? So I'll just show you the other side. All right, so this is my right foot. I put my right hand on the ball of the foot. Usually I start with the opposite hand. So I'll put my left hand on my ankle and then my right hand on the ball of the foot. So again, you can see these two just kind of mirror each other, and take some deep breaths. This one, my body just loves. Okay, so if you've been on lots of airplanes, if you've been with people who are just kind of all over the place, if you yourself have been all over the place, this will restore focus. It'll help boost your immunity. And then you don't have to put your hands on your head, but my body loves it. So some deep breaths. Otherwise, you could just have them here. Good. All right. So some of these you have to not mind how your hair looks, you know. All right. So when we're stressed, I started talking about this earlier, our energy is so in the upper body, especially if we're breathing quick, right? Shallow breathing, it's not going down. Okay. And so one of the ways that we can start to bring the energy down, like, you know, we talked about some ways, another way is to allow your belly to inflate more as you inhale, or imagine that you're carrying the air, because you are carrying the prana or the energy, into an area of your lower body, maybe like your pelvis or your low back, or for your sister and some of the other people maybe who don't have as much mobility as she has, Series, they could imagine the prana or the air going all the way down into their legs. And that will, our bodies are so wise, like even if we have a limb cut off, right, they'll still energetically sense the limb. So it will start to energize the body down there. So we're going to do another breathing technique. And what I'd like you to do is just find an area of your body that would like some more love. Maybe your low back, maybe your wrist. And if you don't have an area, then just take it into the low belly and the pelvis, and allow that area of your body to be energized, and just take the energy down there instead of so up here. Okay. So go ahead and close your eyes. And as you inhale, feel your lungs expanding. And then exhale 2 counts slower than your inhale. And as you exhale, imagine or sense that you're sending the energy into your pelvis or into whatever area of your body could use it. Okay. So as you're inhaling, you're receiving. And then as you exhale, send it wherever you would like it to go. Now let's add to this. So imagine that the air that you're receiving is a healing color. Maybe gold, maybe green, maybe whatever that color is for you. And as you exhale, permeate and penetrate the area that you're bringing the prana to with this color, infusing it with this color. Inhale, receive that color to your lungs, and your exhale is 2 counts, maybe even 3 counts, longer than your inhale. Grow a little taller with each inhale, so the spine elongates. And keep going at your own pace. And when you feel ready, just allow yourself to let go of the breath. No need to taper it back. We didn't make it much longer than normal. And sense the effect on your body, on your mind. There's a technique that I love to share that goes a little deeper than this with a little more intricacies. Um, this is a great start. How did it feel for you guys? Yummy? If you are muted and would like to type into the chat room, feel free. If you have questions, I'm happy to clarify those, just, so you don't go away being like, what did we do? What was that?
I'm just blissed out right now. There are no words.
Oh, yay.
It was the same for me. It was nice to just feel relaxed instead of so much energy everywhere. So thank you, Kathy.
You're so welcome. Thank you. There are just so many. I'm like, we'll do one more. And before we do, I'll talk a little bit about what we're gonna do starting next week. I'm offering a program that is a 1-hour call each week and recorded as well. And then the next 5 days, the call is on Tuesdays, and then the next 5 days, you receive a short video of a tool that you can just integrate into your day. So it might be a breathing technique, or it might be like a hookup thing, or it might be clearing the clutter from your head, or it might be a little tactile skin experience, or a guided meditation, any number of different things. And some you'll probably resonate with more than others. And those are the ones to like keep in your toolbox and keep using. And the cool thing is each week, so it's 3 weeks, and each week you'll get a folder. So each of those short videos will be in your folder, and the longer call will be in your folder as well. That way you can, keep that tool forever and have it on your desktop or whatnot, and be like, oh yeah, let me do this. And you'll have the video guiding you through it. And then there will be a Facebook group for you to ask questions and stuff, so that you're not waiting for the next week's call in order to ask a question about the tool you just learned. And this is just, a culmination of what I've done for 17 years, and making it really practical and usable for you to integrate into your day. Because I know this season gets so like, and having something that you can go back to and be like, oh yeah, here's my tool of the day. It only takes 3 minutes or 5 minutes, and so I'm gonna do it like 3 times today and see what it changes. Yeah, and what it changes for your nervous system and your sweet body. So that's what it is. My husband is yelling for something. He could come out here and do this. So that is like, I think it's $87 for the 3 weeks, and it's the beta program, so it's going to be more in the future. But I'd love if you just hopped in, and you're welcome, since you're on this call, to gift it to a friend too. So if you hop in, just give me your friend's email, and it'll be the 2 of you for that price, the $87. And then if you want to add other friends or whatnot, it'll be $30 for each of them, so that you can help spread the ease instead of the craziness. So let's do one more. Any questions before we go into another one? Yes.
One of the things that I noticed, and I'm not sure if you know of any research behind this, but like when we do the energy polls, because you do these amazing energy polls, like it was almost like with the breathing exercise, I got into a really similar space like we do with the energy pools. It's like blissed out, like, okay, anything's possible. Here we go. Like, just bring it on, world. Like, all right, this is great. um, and I know that the energy pulls are a lot about the risk of the body receiving. Would it be like, what's the difference physiologically? Because the body is such a big part of the energy pulls, and then we're doing this breathing, the pranayama. Like, is there any difference from your point of view of what the energy pulls does for the body versus the breathing pranayama? Since you've played with both so much.
I love both. I love both, you know.
I love both too. I'm just like, I was like, you know, but I'll have both. I'm just curious if, like, physiologically, if you notice anything.
My senses, you know, little kids are so good at receiving, and they're in theta brainwave state. And their learning is just like this, and we get into other brainwave states and figuring it out and stuff like that. And my sense is that we do, and this is not scientifically confirmed, but that when we do energy pulse, we go back into that theta brainwave state. Okay. Which is like, and there's so many, what do you call it? Scientific studies on meditation and how the brain changes in that too. And what pranayama was actually designed to do is to prepare the body for meditation. Okay, so like instead of sitting down, okay, here we go, it's time to meditate, the yogis said, no, first we got to unwind our body doing some asana and movement, which is what most people think of as yoga, right? The movement. But it was really designed to unwind the body so you could sit. And then the breathing was designed to like let go of the day, realign your physiology, and refocus your mind so you can actually expand out into those meditative states. So let's do a little meditative then. All right. Now, I know that just scared some people, so it's not going to be hard. Okay. So go ahead and just close your eyes. If you can, if you're not operating heavy machinery. And soften your body. And on your inhale, actually, let's just take the breathing out of it. So just imagine that you have a flashlight beam at the crown of your head. And that flashlight beam shines all the way down to your tailbone. So you're kind of reorganizing your body around that beam of light. Okay. And bring your awareness to your tailbone. And in your tailbone, as though you're just dropping a rock into a lake and watching it ripple out. Drop in the quality of connectedness. So just dropping the word in. Now bring your attention to your low belly. And as though you're dropping a pebble into a pond and watching this quality ripple out beyond your body, drop in the word creativity. Now bring your attention just above your navel. Connect to this area of your body. And drop in the word expansion. And now bring your awareness up into your chest and drop in the word appreciation. And bring your awareness up into your throat and drop in the word expression. And bring your awareness up into the center of your head and drop in the word knowing and watch it ripple out. And bring your awareness to the crown of your head and drop in the word communion and watch it ripple out. And again, awareness that you already are each of these qualities. Once again, the flashlight beam. Now inhaling all the way down to the tailbone. And as you exhale, intensify the light of that flashlight beam from the crown of the head to the tailbone. One more time, inhaling, receiving more light. Exhaling, spreading that light now, expanding the light into your body in whatever way works for you. And open your eyes. How y'all be?
I'm yum-tastic.
Yum-tastic, good.
I love that.
Mm.
All right, everybody. Thanks for coming to play with me. I'd love for you to join
Thank you very much.
the month. And I just iPhoned to everyone. Yes, yum. Awesome. It's Megan. Your name's not iPhone. Yeah, I just put the link there if you'd like to come play for 3 weeks. And, if you're busy during the 3 weeks and you only access a couple of the videos, they're always going to be there for you. So you can, view them in January or whatever. But I just was so inspired to share these tools in a totally different way. Like, I don't have to go to organizations. I could just send them to people. So it's the first call is on December 12th. And then every day for 5 days, you get short videos or audios. If it's a meditation like this, it might come in an MP3 you can just listen to on your phone or whatnot. But all the tools are designed to be used in 5 minutes or less, so that you're not spending a lot of time getting relaxed. Although you could like string them together and do an hour like we did today. But really, it's just such a nice gift for your body to be able to take one of these tools and use them and use it and rely on it and change your physiology. Because most people, wouldn't you agree, Dr. Ron? Most people are running around in a stressed state. He may have actually left already. Yeah. Anyway, he had this statistic. He was telling me something like what was it? Like, you have a stress response today and you think you're over it tomorrow, and your body is still not over it. You know, for the most part, our body is still in an activated state. So these things can help change that. So December 12th, and then tools each day. There you go. All right, thank you, everybody. Any other questions? You're so welcome. All right, I'll be sending this recording, and I hope to see you on the 12th. Again, I'll just write that in the chat room, because your friend, it's not advertised, but since you're here today, your friend can just join with you for free. So you could give that as a gift or whatever, and we'll send a little email to them that they're registered. And then each additional friend is $30. I gifted this to my aunt, and she's like, oh my God, I need this. I'm not sleeping. I definitely have tools for sleep. Tools for irritation. Tools for anger at people. All right. Any other questions, anybody?
Mm-mm.
All right. Have a great month. Happy holidays.
You too.
Yes, and then, you know, if anyone hasn't already gotten the free money meditation or energy pull exercise, you can go to meetkathywilliams.com.
Perfect.
All right, guys. Oh, one more thing. I'm doing 3 days at the end of the month of Who Does This Belong To? So that'll be coming up. That's a definite tool that can help clear your head. And yeah, so a lot going on. And I hope to play with you and maybe even see you in person someday. I'm going to London and Savannah and Chicago, and you could come play in Hawaii. There is not information on that yet. I just mentioned it on the radio yesterday, and then I was like, oh, we're gonna do that. But Imperfect Brilliance, yes, you're the first to know, because the radio show hasn't even come out yet. Imperfect Brilliance is my radio show. You can find archives on iotransformation.com. Oops, I'm not spelling well. .com/radio. That's the easiest place, because the other places are just more complex. Io in Hawaiian means God. So Io, and also to me it means inner and outer. So inside out transformation. So there's the radio show, Imperfect Brilliance. And then that show will be about stress in the holiday season, and it'll come out Monday. So, and we'd love to hear from you guys about, you know, you can message me, or my best message email is magicalkathy@outlook, because Gmail eats my emails, so I don't rely on it as much. But you can message us if you'd like to see a particular radio show topic. You know, we do all sorts of things, but if there's something you'd like to know more about, listeners really inform, you know, what we choose to do our shows on. So we wouldn't be there without you. So let us know. Betsy and I do the radio show every Monday at 12 Hawaii, it's now 1 Hawaii, 6 p.m. Eastern, and you're welcome to listen to it live on Inspired Choices Network, which you can find by going to that link there. Or you can always catch the archives and replays on iTunes and YouTube. They're there. I have a bunch of YouTube videos too. There's definitely some quick, fun tools to use. And if I knew how to share that YouTube channel, that would be awesome. Just Google it. All right. Have a great week, everybody. Aloha.